Listen, first of all, before I even go into that, hey everybody, it's your well woman, practitioner and researcher Lashana Moore. This is another episode of Living Well with Lashana. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And let me tell y'all something. I deserve all the applauses, okay? Give them to me because I have been trying to record for a long time. This is the second time around. I mean, I even took a break and changed clothes because when you're talking about serious health related things, you want to look presentable. You don't want to have your athletic attire on as if I were talking about fitness things. So at any rate, honey, I had changed clothes and took a break and I was like, you know what? Let's go at it one more time. These episodes are pre-recorded. So yes, give me the applause. Hey y'all, how are you? I hope you are doing well. I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. We're talking about hormone replacement therapy in this episode. And yes, it is a special edition. It's a Black woman's edition, and I will go into why that is. If you look below, you're going to see the disclaimer that this information is not meant to diagnose you, treat, or cure, or supplement the relationship with you and your physician. Please consult your physician for any protocol, any consideration, and furthermore, I want to encourage you to have this conversation with your physician because they are a huge part of how all of this goes down. So, why a Black women's edition? An edition for Black women. That's edition, EDI, edition. Number one, it is known and it is a researchable fact that Black women can enter into menopause up to 6 years earlier than their counterparts. And I'm going to be using just also to preface this conversation. I am going to be using the word menopause for perimenopause and menopause itself. We know perimenopause are the years that our body is preparing to exit out of its reproductive season. Menopause is the day that we no longer have any bleeding or spotting, even. Remember that. No spotting, even. 12 consecutive months. And then postmenopause is the last season of life. It can last up to 40 years. It's 40% of our lives will be spent as postmenopause women. So it is definitely an important conversation. But Black Women's Edition, because we can enter menopause up to 6 years earlier, we have a lot of special conditions. We also have a long history with medical disparity, healthcare disparity, medical apartheid. And so a lot of women are very hesitant when it comes to doctor related treatments. And I want this podcast episode to serve as a safe place to receive resources, to have dialogue. Feel free to submit comments down below, respectfully, please. But this is a safe space, and because we do need to have a certain type of conversation and education surrounding the way that we menopause, the way that we mature well. The premise of Living Well with Lashana is to live, age, and be well and whole. And so we just want to honor the reality that there are aspects of doing that will look different for the Black woman. HRT, also known, well, hormone replacement therapy, also known as HRT, is the I'll say the clinical definition for it is a treatment to help relieve symptoms of menopause. It also serves to replace those female hormones that are lowered when we enter that menopause season. And it also seeks to, I think one of the main goals for HRT is to restore those levels so that we feel like ourselves. All of you are going to have a different experience. I shared on the audio podcast. This is available on other audio podcasts as well. I shared with the audio audience that peri has hit me hard. And you think that you live well, you breathe well, you eat well, you love well, you exercise well, you sleep well, you endeavor to do all of these different things because we are very wellness driven. Am I right about it? We are. And we tend to think because we are so wellness driven that there are some things that we're going to bypass. And I was hit with a rude awakening that just because I did all of these things well, do these things well still, that I was going to bypass all of the stories that I'd heard about Perry. And she said, not so. I'm here and I need you to recognize me and I need you to make some room for me because I think I'm going to stick around for a little while. Okay, let me see what you got going on in this body. Okay, we're going to shake things up a little bit. We're going to shake things up a little bit. That's how she walked into my life. And so thankfully, as you've heard me say, and I'll be repeating things because all of you hear me share information on different platforms, or it may be your first time. But I am thankful that I had a mother who I had conversation with. My father gives me reference points. My aunts give me reference points. And so for me, Perry has been a dominant hereditary experience based on all of the information that I have received. That I can see a correlation between my mother's experience and mine. So number one, space. Space and grace. You hear me say that a lot. Space and grace as we're going through this. This is not a linear journey. And in a hyper wellness culture, perimenopause will humble you. You're going to recognize that certain things work, certain things no longer work, and you're going to have to seek new practices, new treatments, new protocols. So we're going to talk about how HRT just may be one of those things. Hormone health and longevity. Let's hit it real quick. Hormone health, sexual wellness is a huge part of how long we live. Now, y'all, not just how long we live, but how well we live. So we don't just want quantity of life, we want quality of life. And we have progesterone, estrogen, testosterone. Those are our sex hormones. Men and women both have their set of sex hormones. Some of them overlap, some of them are the same. And so while we are going through this hormonal shift, while these hormones are challenged, while they're trying to find their new rhythm in the matrix of our body begins to experience a lot of different changes. Now, I've talked to women who have had no, uh, not a lot of women, but I've talked to one woman. Let me be real clear. I talked to one woman who has only faced insomnia. I've talked to one woman, she's in her late 70s. She had no symptoms. And then you got your story. What is your story with Perry? Or as my husband calls her, Priscilla. What is your story with your girl? I have had quite a few. And so hormone health is our hormones. We want to keep a very close eye on them. We don't want to just live casually and leisurely. We don't want to be in the passenger seat of our health. We want to be monitoring and observing. These hormones, as they are shifting and trying to find their new rhythm, they're going to be releasing messages to us by way of our mood, our libido, our hair, skin, nails, our blood pressure, our cholesterol, our weight, our energy level, our metabolic health, all of these and more, because there are even more uncommon symptoms like restless leg syndrome, acid reflux, bloating is a common one, so I'll put that in the common category. Um, um, Sensitive gums, things going on with your tongue, your taste palate. There's a lot of stuff that happens. And all of that shows us just how essential and serious hormones are, how much we need them. So the question of the day is, what do we do since we're losing them? Because we need them. Now, the body's doing what she's supposed to do. She's making way. She's transitioning us into more mature times. But while she's doing that by way of releasing these a lot of these hormones out of our body, our estrogen is declining. Testosterone drops. That'll be a different experience for you. Progesterone is spiking up and then dropping down. That's going to be its own experience for you. We still have to figure out what we need to do because so much of our body depends on it. So the longevity of life and our symptoms can be as a result of so many different things. I always encourage you to have conversation with the women on your mother's side of the family. If you are blessed to have healthy enough relationships that you can have conversation, I encourage you to, because I am certainly glad. So I've already shared with you, we're moving right along in this conversation. I've already shared with you what some of those symptoms are. Some of them are like your top 5, your hot flashes, your mood swings, libido change, vaginal atrophy, loss of hair or thinning of hair, brittle nails, short memory, brain fog, all of that, your uncommon symptoms. These are all just messages. They're messages that we have to pay attention to, and that our body is trying to say, hey, there are some changes happening, and we want you to know it, and we want you to we want you to prepare to do something about it. Menopause is not a disease. It's a change of life. It is an experience. And what we want to try to do is enter it with as much joy and peace and harmony as possible. We need to say to our bodies, hey, all right, I get it. We're changing. I need you to work with me. I'm gonna work with you. We're gonna work with the doctor. We're gonna set up some new protocols. We're gonna do all the things. We're gonna do the medical. We're gonna do the holistic. We're gonna do the natural. We're gonna do the spiritual. We're gonna do all the things, because that is what living well and whole is about. Is bringing everything into harmony, right? So the big wellness picture here, I said grace and space, right? A few minutes ago. Yeah, the bigger wellness picture here is to realize that although you have a lot of knowledge, although you have a lot of practices and you do a lot of things, and each of you have your routines and your ceremonies and your practices and your rituals and all the things that you do, that recognizing that menopause is going to be a new season of life that may challenge some of those things, and it is going to quickly dismantle this idea that you can be your own self healer to the extent of resolving everything. Now, hear me well and hear that statement well. And this is coming from a holistic health practitioner. Functional medicine is my jam. But we have to make space for other alternatives, other combinations that just may be necessary, because your body is going through a biochemical, hormonal, um, neurological change. That and then some. And you are going to find your journey to be so unique day by day that you've got to be open to considering all the things. Now, with that comes knowledge, understanding, asking questions, advocating for yourself, sisters. Advocacy is going to be a big part. This is also why I wanted us to have our own edition, because I want you to be educated enough so that when you go to your doctor, you will be able to decipher whether your doctor is paying attention to you. We already know the barriers that we face. We already know the challenges that many of us have had in the doctor's office. I've gone through it too as a practitioner, being dismissed. I had a doctor a few years ago straight up tell me, while I'm sharing all the things, well, if you'd stop talking and listen to me, I'll let you know what I'm going to do for you today. He did. That's what he said. And you know what I did? Because I knew my rights and because I had enough courage, I got up, I said thank you, and I walked out and I went to the front lobby and I asked for the information so that I could file a grievance, and did. So we need understanding. We need information. We need to be prepared. Yes, we face concerns that our lovely counterparts just may not. I shared the historical context with you. My physician friends talk about how oftentimes they are struggling to get Black women to be a part of case studies, clinical trials, because of these very issues. So it is important that we develop understanding and get educated so that we can do right by ourselves and right by our longevity. That's the bigger wellness picture. Education, understanding, grace, space. You can do what you can do, and what you cannot do, you need to know where to get that done. How about that? What is that? Does that work? All right, let's talk about the HRT breakdown real quick, what this looks like. It's not all, there doesn't have to be an extenuated, an extensive assessment by the doctor, but your doctor is going to ask you a series of questions. They'll ask you about your age, what you've been experiencing, the severity level of what you've been experiencing, how long you've been experiencing that. They're going to talk to you about your family history. They may ask you questions about your period if you have one. They're going to go through all of these different questions with you, and they may start you directly on HRT, or if they don't feel like you're a candidate for it, or number one, you can ask why. Remember, but if not, if they don't feel like you need HRT, then the next step that a doctor or physician would take with you is to give you what that alternative or what that next step or what that treatment looks like, and talk to them about hormone replacement therapy. Ask them about um, how they feel about it. While I'm talking about physicians, excuse me, I want to also make it clear that you need to be talking to a physician who is trained and understands and has a skill set of working with menopause. You've heard me talk several times about how our physicians are not required. It's not a part of their curriculum. They get one lecture, and this is according to my physician friends. They get one lecture and then they move on with the curriculum. So you need to have these conversations with them. You need to know what HRT consists of. There are two types. There's a combined HRT, estrogen and progesterone, and that's for women who still have their womb, their uterus. Estrogen um, will be suggested for women who have had a hysterectomy, or estrogen only, um, which is the estrogen, will be considered. And then there are different types of treatments. There are tablets that you take orally. There's a patch that you put on your skin. There's an implant. You can be implanted, which they'll put you under anesthesia for that. There's a gel that can be applied to the skin and absorbed very well. There is even a spray that can be applied to the forearm. So your physician will talk to you about this. But this is information for you to know ahead of time. Some of you may opt to try testosterone, um, and usually testosterone is not very common, but it will be used. Just trying to think. Um, It can be used for women. So you can get the injection, the pellet, which lasts for a few months. That usually testosterone will usually help boost women's libidos. It will help to manage night sweats. It can even help to manage weight gain, weight challenges. But that will also be a part of HRT in general. And when you talk with your physician, you let them know what your symptoms are, what you have been experiencing. And from that information, they will better determine what your Q4 is, what your protocol is going to be. I recommend board certified physicians and not just a wellness clinic because, number one, they're board certified. You want to go to someone who is trained, and also because of the whole uh, care of dosage. Most of the time they're going to start you on a low dosage, but physicians know how to dose. So not stepping on any toes, not to rain on anybody's parade, or not to dictate what you should do. I don't play when it comes to your health and your well-being. So I'm going to share information like that with you. I'm going to encourage you to go to a doctor that's board certified so that you know at the end of the day your health and well-being are taken care of. And yes, anything can happen with anybody. The hope of it all is to feel, like I said at the beginning, to feel like yourself again. This is going to be part one. I'm going to do a part two that will include some holistic additions, ADD additions to your wellness artillery belt. And the hope of it all is that you are able to work out and see results, that you can lose weight as needed, your blood sugar be regulated, you have good, firm, consistent mood, you have a wonderful, healthy balance, love life, and relationship, that you feel like your body is working for you and you can experience uh, a sense of homeostasis. You can feel good about life and aging again. Well and whole is what it's all about. I want you to go onto my website, LaShannamore.com, to get more information. There are resources, there are blogs. I am reformulating my supplement for blood sugar. She will be ready at the latter part of this summer. I also have a product that I am an ambassador for that I absolutely stand behind. As a matter of fact, I was using their product before they even approached me, and I was like, "Bet, we're on one accord." So go and check that out. And make sure that you like, share, and comment and subscribe. All right, this is your well woman, and I am encouraging you to live, age, and be well and whole until the next episode.